And as I said earlier, we have just about somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes of time with the free session. So, and that of course is what I do, use the free session. So did you have any questions?
Um, Not anything particular, no. Just right now I'm kind of working on our um, processes paper that's due this week for the
Okay.
pre-evaluation.
Okay.
Um,
Well, those are really fun papers because they're real. It's like, look at your organization. And a lot of students go, well, I do not know that much about my organization. So guess what they do? You start asking questions and they start making acquaintances and building networks and that sort of thing. Kind of exciting.
yes, definitely. And this has opened my eyes a lot. I work in our operations department, and uh, it's really opened my eyes a lot to some of our processes that just within our one department we do. So,
Yeah, okay. Well, it's always nice. It's not only nice, it's generally essential for an organization to have a realistic view of what really happens because those guys up there in the upper stratosphere, right, tend to lose communication and contact with the rest of us down here in the trenches.
definitely.
They definitely do. All right. Well, the first thing was I have about 5 things to go through here and sort of little demos that are fun. And there's this speed test. So what I'm going to do, well, Atlanta, Georgia, let's pick someplace far. How about over here in Texas? So what we'll do is we're going to pick a router in Texas and see how long it takes to get there and back, just for fun. 44 milliseconds for a ping. Wow. And what was really interesting is I worked for years, and I'd always hear these guys saying, well, we did a ping to that, and we can ping that. And I'm going, wow, that sounds exciting. What are you really doing? And all they're doing is sending out this message that when it hits, it comes right back and says, yeah, I made it there. So to that particular site, have a 1.2 megabit per second download. Pretty good, at least for this location. So that's some of net testing tools. Here's another one, a website testing tool. Let's see. Let's try that. Let's try Baker just for fun. And there's no telling what will come up here. Test now. I like the word test. There's a test now. So what are we doing? We're testing every day. Oh, waiting to download some advertisements. Test it now. Now what? It's going to do it again. Oh, that was thrilling. I like that one. Test your site every day. No. Well, it worked last week. What it's supposed to do is go ahead and run out. Well, how about this? Here, try one of these. Oh, that was supposed to show us how long it took to download a full page. And it did not. So, okay, let's try this one. You know what a trace route is, right? We'll try and explain it in just a minute anyway then. Go ahead and tell me while you're working here. I said trace route, do me a trace route. Thank you. Ah, there we go. Okay, so tell me, what is a trace route? No? Still there?
Should I be able to see something else on my screen, I guess?
You should be seeing something that says Baker EDU trace route. What do you see?
All I can see is your video.
That's not a very good thing. I hit share screen. You should be looking at this now. See this? See the test ring?
Nope.
Yeah.
All I have is your video and the Zoom settings, basically, is all I can see.
Uh-oh, guess what? Something is not displaying properly because it said share screen, and I'm doing a share screen, and I'm showing the trace route.
Hmm.
All right, let's back up and try again. Uh, do. This is a real happy feeling. For example, I did. See, you're looking at desktop one. I don't want to show that. I want to show this one. This is what I want to see. What do you see now?
Nothing different.
Wow, what an improvement. All right, in that case, let's cheat over here. And heaven only knows what will happen. Stop sharing. Go back to share again. And I want to share desktop 2. Okay, now, can you see anything different now?
Ah, there we go.
Well, I'll be horsewhipped and hornswoggled. Okay, all right. Anyway, if you can see that speed test from Xfinity, it took 44 seconds to ping from here to the planet Houston. And the download speed was 1.2.8 megabits per second. That's very nice, right? That was just for fun. That's a speed test. Here's another one. This was the trace route out to the baker.edu, if you can see that. And you'll notice it went to, that's the first place, those are the people that are running the test. And then it started going through the different routers to get there.
Okay.
And so hop 1 through, and usually by 15 or 16, the world turns to death anyway, which means it really got there by about because they only check routers, it's pretty hard to go more hops than that. But all a trace route is, it says, how did the signal go from here to there?
Okay.
And every time that you log in and then you try to go to a different website, right, the hops are going to be different because the net is mobile. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they run this trace route, just to see what it takes to get there. And so we get to NTT. So things probably settled down here about hop number 14, because you'll notice all of a sudden now they're all the same thing. We're close to it anyway, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that was one.
Okay.
This one was fun. Everyone always talks about being able to use 3D. Well, look here. Here's a car. You can drag the inside of the car around, look up, down, right? Choose your point or where you want to sit. You want to sit in the passenger seat and look. There's everything from the passenger seat, complete to the plastic on the floor. And look up here. Who cares what the ceiling looks like, but there it is. Right? Isn't that neat?
That is neat. I've seen the 3D images, but I've never seen one where you can like click different spots to see it from different points of view in the car.
And then we can go, okay, let's sit in the back seat, et cetera, et cetera. And now we're in the back seat looking. And so if this has very nice applications, right? Say you wanted to buy a car and you could not get to the car. You go, well, what does it look like? A lot of times, why do you think somebody would want something similar to this? Other than here, we're looking at a cute little car that somebody built.
I think that even like house buying, it would be interesting to have something like this. for real estate offices and stuff.
Okay. And astronauts go up, right? Or wherever, whatever they do. And I don't know, well, what does it look like where they are? Well, here we are. Porsche. Okay. All right. So that was a kind of neat one. And it has its own little, it just automates itself too. So it was kind of nice to look at. And what's really, if you want to think about something, now, think about this. All of this, here we are, we're drifting merrily away all by ourselves here. But each one of those salient issues, the salient points, right? It's going to drift around by itself and be happy because that's what it does. Each one of those points can be represented with video referencing. So this is not just, it cannot be just a pixel, right? It actually can map those three-dimensional structures. And so, yes, here we're looking at a car, but we could be looking at a canyon. We could be looking at a bomb crater. We could be looking at part of some asteroid or a moon or something like that. And being able to plot the points and see actually what's there, and not only what is there, but then to start manipulating those points. They call it topology, manipulating the points to see what changes we can make. So think about that for design as well. Talked about artificial intelligences and processes and designs. And so here's all part of that. And we can also teach an artificial intelligence what to look for. There are some processes, and I'm not sure whether I told everyone in the class or not. Everybody goes, oh, well, what do you do with your super documents that you want no one else to get? You go shred them, right? And then you mix them up, and then you go throw them in a dumpster. Bad idea. There are computerized processes that can take, you can literally take those shredded pieces, lie them all out, and take pictures of them, and the computer will regenerate the document. Okay? That is why people that really want to get rid of their documents shred them and then dissolve them. They make them go away for real. Okay? And this is all part of what we're seeing here. Here we're just seeing some pictures, but as I said, you can manipulate the data and not just the picture. So, okay, project management. Here were some things, and I'm not sure how much you can see on this because it's split screen for me right now. But whenever you're processing, see, now we've had the fun. We have to get into some real stuff. Project risk and complexity, this thing low, medium, and high. What they're really building there is a thing called a heat map. So what does it mean? Okay, there's a risk and complexity, there's the amount of risk, and then the likelihood that something's going to happen, one on axis, one on the other. And so you're a manager person, you're going to look at three types of risk. Risk number 3 is the easiest risk. That's the risk or controllables in a process, right? That's like quality control stuff. You do the same thing all the time. You can determine how well you really want to do it. And then risk number 2 as a manager you're going to look at consists of strategic risk, which means, okay, if we decide to do this as an IT department or an MIS department or an HR department or a production department or a processing, whatever, if we decide to do that, then that will affect our organization strategy. And how's that going to react with what everybody else is trying to do? That's risk type number 2. And risk type number 3 is they call it the black swan. It's not like the black swan of death. And what that is something horrible and totally unforeseen happened, like your IT department head decided he wanted to have a heart attack on Saturday afternoon. Poof. Now, what do you do? Or your CEO decided he was going to go sailing and his boat went down like that and you'll never see him again. So those are strategy risks number 3. That's that risk level number 3. So if you look at that down here, what you'll see, these are all on the project risk, which is what a lot of what you'll be doing. And those project risks are going to consist of planning, executing, and then monitoring. Does this look familiar? What we just got through talking about? That's what this is. And so you have low, medium, and high risk. And these are all going to be most of these are going to be risk level number 3, which is a process or a procedural risk. Okay. And that's what most managers and low-level executives concern themselves with. So you can go look up, if you want, you can go there. Then I have another one, and I'm not sure whether you're going to see this one or not at all. It actually did come over there. That's good. I'm going to drag it that way some more. So here's some more. These are different standards for IT projects. And if you go to this site, which you can, I'm not sure, itplanning.org, vt.edu/PM, if you can see that up here, they have scorecards, level indicators, really nice places to go. Okay? Good chance to go out there, go take a look at that, because you need to think about something. Most of the people here in the class are going to be headed up into management, whether they want it or not. Some of us fought viciously to stay in the lab. We wanted to stay in engineering. We avoided management, and this is a personal thing here, avoided management at all costs until it was inescapable. Okay? Because it was not fun. But think about the impact that you have on the organization. You can be the best engineer, you can be the best operations person, but when you start impacting that organization and you start impacting their performance, guess what? They start compensating you with empowerment. That feels nice. They compensate you a little bit more with pay, but a lot of us are going, oh, I have enough pay. Okay, but it's a little bit more than enough pay. And you get the feeling, you get to have that good feeling that says, I got to do that, right? I mean, I had a thing, we were in Germany and I was running a site over there. And the contract negotiators I'm not sure they could negotiate their way out of a wet paper sack. And so I talked to the customer relation person at the site that I was working for, the site that I was managing. And I said, look, I see you have a problem. He says, yeah, nobody will get off of the pot. Nobody will move. I said, that's not a problem. So I called my manager back in the States and I said, here's what I want to do. I'm just going to tell them they have an option. They can move themselves along and get something going, or I will take all of my team and we will leave tomorrow morning. We will just go away and leave everything where it is. And I'll just put to them very nicely, is that what you really want to do? Right? So now we're back here to all of this project stuff, right? And all of that risk. And it was not just a level 3 risk. It was not just a level 2 risk. That was a level 1 behavior. That got their attention. We had a contract in 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
That's the good news. The bad news? They almost fired me because I had done what it took to move them. And the contracting people said I had no business being there. And I said, well, you know, the way you were diddling around, guys, I would have lost my teams anyway. They would have gone. It would have been over. And I said, so all I did was just say, is that what you really want? So there was good news and there was bad news. The good news was it saved the company probably, when I say millions of dollars, that's conservative. Wow. Because it would have cost millions of dollars to get us out and get everything out, and then millions and millions of dollars to move it all back. And so it stayed in place. So we won, but I had an interesting result, which is okay. You know, you make your decisions, you go with them. Yep. All right. And I do not regret doing what I did. So now we're back, hopefully, I closed that one. So those are the things we looked at. And now you can still see this thing. Now you see this Apache JMeter document.
Yep.
Okay, you're back. Good. I'm glad I have two screens. All right. So there are some web and load testing tools, and I use these tools in the sites that I designed. Very well, very much. Anything that was free, I went for free. If it was even lower cost than that, I went for that. And I know that we talk about in this week's discussions, oh, by the way, avoid the freeware, right? Well, that's okay. If it does what you want, have at it. So if you go out here, Apache, of course, is the absolute premium web site design and maintenance tool. And here are some of these load testing tools. One of them is the Apache JMeter. They'll give you these things. It's open source. We've talked about that. That means probably GNU license, which means General Network or Universal Use license for free. Adapt at your own peril. So there's the Apache JLoad or JMeter. Just a minute. I got to move the phone. Hello. Yes. Hold on. I'm sorry, but we had one of our tractors out for repair, and they're just calling to tell us that they fixed it. So that's good. We have to spend money. Okay. All right. So the other one here, WebLoad. This is good. As I said, I use these things for free. They go ahead and they run great tests. How fast, as we saw some of those, how fast a site will load, how fast it will download, and then you can actually test the website for links with an automated tester. You go test, and it just tests all the links and says, okay, good link, bad link. But then there's always the other one. Have you performed some web testing too? Usability, right? And that means literally, and I did this, take a stopwatch, sit somebody down in front of the site and say, do this, click, do that, click. Okay, so sometimes it's manual. All right, so here are these other ones, performance testing. These are good performance test tools. And then this other one here, load impact. It tests loading. Well, what does load mean? You've heard denial of service attack, right? Well, you have, okay. What that means is if someone wants to interfere with a commercial operation or any type of operation, they just try to log in, right? Well, that's one person logging in, and you can see these other ones. Are you back? Not back. So one person can log in, two people can log in, and you can connect a computer that the computer says, I'm going to keep adding logins to the site until it slows down so much, because it's trying to do so much, that it cannot work anymore. And that is called a denial of service attack. And so load impact allows testing a site for how much traffic it can stand. Okay? So that's what I had to share. And back to that, and back to stop share. So we'll keep the recording go for just a second. And your audio's off. Let's see if I can get your audio back here. My internet connection is unstable. I'm going to turn my audio down, turn my video off, see if that helps stabilize things. Bring you up here. All right, can you hear me now? Oop, hear me now. You back?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Okay, you're back. So it went away. So did you have any questions on any of that content? I know it's just a lot of fun stuff to do.
No, I don't think I have any questions. It was a couple of really interesting things, though.
Okay. And what's really nice is those activities can all be used with the as part of a decision support system. You know, how much website traffic can something take before it starts falling apart?
Yeah.
I used to run those tests to see because my wife and I had a tutoring service, and we had our own servers inside the house, and I would run tests against them to see how much traffic they could stand, how they would degrade by the number of people that would begin trying to connect, and the latency times, all of those things that we just looked at. Okay?
Okay.
And as I explained earlier, these can all use artificial intelligence. You can just tell a computer system, I want to run that, and come back in a couple hours, and there will be the results sitting for you to wade your way through.
Okay.
Okay, so that's some MIS stuff. Does this apply to anything that you're doing? You have about 2 or 3 more minutes and run out of time.
Well, actually, the last one that you just went through about seeing how much a website, how much traffic it can handle, my husband just bought that online auction business, so I'd be interested to see how their website, how much traffic it really can handle through that.
Okay, so that would be a nice test. You might want to try that. That's web loading, and that will give you a good idea how many people. Because if you have a real popular item, right, you're going to have a lot of people coming in. Or if you have a lot of items, you will have a lot of people coming in.
Yeah.
And have you tested the site for usability, friendliness, user friendly?
No, we honestly they just turned it on
Okay.
Thursday last week, I think.
Remember you telling me about it.
Yeah.
And what is interesting is that this is not just internet, it is intranet as well. And we had some students talking about having their intranet doing things. So all of these MIS applications apply. And even if you're not technologically inclined, now you know some more about some of the things when people are talking about this is what we're doing. And the ping and the trace route deliver troubleshooting tools so that you know where the problems might be and how you might want to route past it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, there you go. Thank you very much for coming.
All right. Well, thank you, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.